Welcome in, guys, to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. This is your boy JustCMTexx. I'm back, and we're gonna go ahead and get into the tier list, and we're just gonna jump right into it. We have some legacy tunes here, Abraham, Carl, and right now we're going through this phase where they're doing awakening tunes. So some of these guys can really be awakening, and I think they'll actually be good. But for right now, there's really no place for them except for if you want to just use them on roadmaps. They're not going to be in your main team, so this is what we call like the legacy tunes. But there's some good ones in here that could work if they kind of like redo them. So we have like Ivanova, Michonne 2K, regular Michonne, Princess, Tyrese as well too. Just a couple of them in this legacy tune pack that could be really good, and we could definitely be able to use those. But right now, no rotation for them within your meta teams, so this is where they at. Next, we have our C tier list. Okay, and on here, we have some nice little tunes as well too. We have that Dario, Morgan, Conrad. These guys at one time were decent tunes that you can be able to use. Ronaldo, War tune as well here. As you can see, Amani's on this C tier list as well too. She was the first kind of a ultra tune, and we have these variety of tunes that are here. And the C tier list tunes, these tunes can be able to help out in certain spots, especially if you're facing more mid to lower tier factions and teams. But these are not guys that you're gonna ride home about and put them on some of your main list. Now, as far as the C tier list, when you look at Tara is still good in faction assault. You can be able to use her there. And Mr. Jones too is kind of quirky. They keep applying a little bit of burn to help out with some of those smaller roadmaps. But this is what you have for the C tier list tunes here. And then next we have our B tier list. Now these are tunes that can be a little bit higher depending on the rotation that you put them in, depending on the team and the setup. They're not going to work for every team. They're not your meta tunes, but these tunes are really, really good. So you have tunes that such as Rosie. You have Titan as well too. Titan was one of the first big normalized tunes within the game. He still does have his value, but you have better normalized tunes that are out there now, such as Georgia, and Ezekiel and stuff like that. So you do have a variety of these tunes that you can use for normalized. So he kind of fell off, but in a green team setup, he can still really, really go. And so can the Wanderer as well too. They can be really good. Now, we did just have a buff on human shields, so Rosie has become a little bit more meta relevant. Beta recently received a buff as well too, and Beta can decap, and you always need decap on these teams because there's so much healing and reviving that's going on right now within the current meta. So you do have your B tier list tunes. Now, next on this list, we have the A tier list. Now, these are tunes that shine bright, can really be used in certain setups. Kenny is still a decent attack tune, especially on that mid to lower tier. So is Duck. You can kind of pair them together. Laura is actually really good because she gives AP to tune with the most AP, and they could be able to go turn one. So you can pretty much take somebody out turn one with that combination of Kenny and Duck and Laura, especially on that mid to lower tier teams. We also have Bucket Hat Cal there, Eric there as well, Argus. Now, with the advent of the counter damage lead tunes coming in the game, such as Anniversary Maggie, Argus can actually be really good as a turn one juggernaut, taking out some of the teams. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the big dogs are using him on some of their fast teams to be able to take them out, since that counter damage is being reduced and works very well. But we'll have to see. But Argus is actually good, could be as high as the S tier list as well. We have Yuletide Ezekiel here on this list. Jesus 2K, Martinez, and Tyrese in a group. Still works decent against some of your much lower tier teams as well there. So this is why they're on the A tier list. And then next on the tier list, we have our S rank. Now, S rank, I know some of these guys are, they seem a little out of place, but trust me, I'm just telling you that these guys are good within certain setups. So like your Holiday Carl is still good because there's so many medics running around. He's stun medic. He is a medic nightmare. Easter Eva is a absolute nightmare with Tank Buster. That weapon is still one of the best weapons in the game and can help you take out some of these tanks. And the reason why it's good is because she removes the bonus HP. So it's pretty good. Protector Aaron is really good as well there too. You got Winter Benjamin, who is good. as well too. Winter Harrison is also good as well. These guys really kind of help out your team there. Agent 46 decaps does good against red tunes. Definitely a good set of tunes here on your S tier list. And next we have the S plus tier list. So on the S plus tier list, okay, obviously Casanova Davies still a strong lead. Mike Infection still really good. Christmas Carol, really need her to help out against Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper is not such a problem as he was before, but he still generate nightmares, especially when there are bugs and things like that going on within the game. We have Circuit. Because of her weapon, she is strong and she applies stun to 3 tunes. I think turn 2 or 2 tunes. It's nuts. You put her behind the human shield and Kyle and Aaron and a couple of other things, and it's lights out. You got to try to stop all of that at one time, and that becomes very problematic. Raven, still one of the strongest attack tunes in the game. Off duty Shane. We got Winter Benjamin here. I said Winter Benjamin before, but I meant to say Winter Marcus. Winter Benjamin is really good there, especially with that built-in ransack and stuff like that, and he can do massive damage put inside a green team. Dr. Denise, Commander John, Hang In, and Sarge, still one of the best all-around ambidextrous tunes in the game. Does good damage, gives camouflage, daze resist. I know it's a couple of different things that he does. I believe it's the daze daze resist for 2 turns, I believe it is. But Sarge is really good, and he does bonus damage when he attacks. So I believe his attacker does his rush. So as I said, he's still one of the top tunes with in RTS. Now, we did have a plethora of new tunes come in, so we're going to go ahead and get to this tier list, starting off with Akira. Akira, S plus tier list. Command tune, revives, add massive burn damage. The burn damage could get up way past 150k. Akira is definitely a S plus tier list tune there. Next we have Corvus. You know, Corvus is really a C tier list tune. He's only really good for faction assault. I really don't see him being used outside of faction assault, and he only works in a, you know, kind of like niche team with the hidden tunes. So that's where you will have Corvus at. Next we have Emperor Ezekiel. Emperor Ezekiel, he's a headhunter tune. He applies in pair, removes in player, and he adds that decap. So he is definitely going to be a S tier list tune. You know, he is a little bit slow, and if you are a mid to low tier fighter with an RTS and you have your chance to get a hands on him, he can actually do some decent damage in your teams. Now, next on this list, we have Father's Day Tyrese. All right, the normalizer of all normalizers. He is a S plus tier list tune, the absolute monster, massive AoE damage as well. And if that tune is yellow, he'll apply an extra attack to the line, and he does massive damage. Could be able to take a tune out or not. And he has this on a roll specialist where he gets massive damage boost every turn if he's not stunned or impaired. Absolute nuts. Father Tyrese is there. Next on this list, we have Hina. Hina is very strong defensive lead. Alert and strong teammates get a buff, you know, and she gives out camo for 3 turns, I believe it is. She is definitely a S tier list leader. And if you pair her with Princess, nightmares all day. I'll be having so many nightmares about them. They are absolutely nuts together. Job is a S tier list lead. He is a little bit niche, only good in certain you know, places when it comes to the yellow tunes and everything like that, the fast tunes. So, but he does give attack down resist. He gives 50% fast lead boost. He's good for the RTS tunes. He also gives them an additional 30% boost. Okay, and when an enemy dies, he gives out 100% boost to an attacker. So Job can actually be used. He just is a massive attacker, and he applies crosshairs. Crosshairs is always good because it is a form of decap. It helps you be able to keep these guys down when they're dead, and that is the number one thing that you want to be able to do, is to keep them down. Next we have Julie. Julie is a S plus tier list tune. She is a disarm tune, you know, and they're very, very important to get rid of that third slot that is so powerful on these defensive tunes nowadays. She has a built-in praying spread as well too, and on top of that, when she crits, she takes away bonus HP, which is absolutely critical. And her sick move, if you attack the middle tune, she'll do multiple crits, taking off damage, which allow your attack tunes with Laura and all these other setups to be able to come into place and melt these guys down fast. She's an S+ tier list tune. Next on this list, we have Princess. Now, Princess is just nuts. Vengeance tune, I really don't have to say too much about a Vengeance tune, because we know all the Vengeance tunes on here give people problems, and they have been giving problems for a very long time. But on top of that, she has Burn and Bleed block, she has a built-in cleanse, and she has tons of support to help her teammates. Put an absolute 0 weapon in her hand, it becomes an absolute nightmare with Princess and stuff like that. And I know you say, well, you kind of want this to go off, you kind of want the Vengeance to go off, but still, she just can be very, very powerful. So she is an S+ tier list defensive tune. Next, we have Roland. Okay, Roland has massive amounts of HP, which kind of makes him into a self-proclaimed tank of the sorts. You know, he heals himself. He has additional 60% HP, right? And when he dies for 3 turns or 2 turns, I believe it is, he gives minus 30 AP to tunes, man. So he is absolutely a problem, and he can absolutely one-shot a tune turn 1. So if he goes off, he's killing somebody on your team. If you don't have Guardian Shield, he is very, very tough. So you have him here. Sheila, I have her as next on this list. Sheila is a tier list tune to me. She can be good if you put her in certain setups, but she's kind of like ambidextrous. She works on the offensive end and the defensive end. You know, she gives focus on attack, and then she gets elusive when she's on defense. You know, just kind of one of those, if she's in a certain position, she'll work, but it's nobody that you're gonna put into your main roster and just continually use them. So that's what we have Sheila as the A tier list. Next on this list, we have Stars. Okay, Stars, S+ tier list tune, human shield, protects against burn, you know, and he gives, I believe, medics gets camo, and then he gets Guardian Shield. It's just nuts, man. He's a really, really, really good tune. He lands here on the S+ tier list. Next on this list, we have Steve. Okay, Steve is definitely a S tier tune. These are some really good tunes that have been coming out lately. Steve gives that Guardian Shield. His weapon is really, really good too as well, which implies infection. He also gets 50% defensive down when performing his specialist skill, and he gives Halo as well too. So he's a really, really good tune. We have Steve here at the S tier list. Next, we have Stripes. Okay, we know what Stripes is good for. Towers, and that's her place. Next on this list, we have Anniversary Glenn. Now, Anniversary Glenn has one of the coolest, you know, specialist skills, which is the Amped, where he constantly feeds AP to himself and he get the rush, but he's not really strong without Maggie, and he does do a decent amount of damage, but he is not somebody that is going to, you know, change the game for you. He's not one of those super staples that are in the team. So we definitely have him on the A tier list. Now, we have Maggie, who is next, and she is on the S+ tier list. You want to know why she's on the S+ tier list? Because she gives counter damage reduction for 2 turns. So that means your Rampage tunes, all of these tunes that do multiple attacks, you can go and blitz the mess out of these Vengeance teams and not have to worry about it, unless there's a bug. But if there isn't any bugs, you can blitz them, take these guys out. That alone make her a S+ tier list tune. Next on this list, okay, we do have Awakened Negan, all right, and we're going to talk about Awakened Negan. I believe personally that Awakened Negan is a S tier list tune. If you watch my recent war stream, you will see that I use him in my teams. The reason why is because he gives focus for 3 turns. Okay, focus helps you avoid taunt and confuse, and you can just blitz these guys. And a lot of times on these defensive ends, especially when you're going up against the yellow tunes, guess who you have to go up against? Laupo. She had a recent resurgence, and Laupo had a recent resurgence, which is why she's on the A rank list. she gives out that confuse and you attack her, it becomes a problem. You can avoid that here with this focus Negan. I think he's underrated. He also has 40% attack as well, and he applies main damage on his rush. I think he's good. He's an S tier list toon. Next on this list, baby, we have Krista, and I think Krista is a tier list toon. Could be as high as the S tier list, but she's a resilience toon. We've seen this already come into the game as well too, but they're not as overpowered as the S-class resilient toons because, bro, Trader was nuts in the S-class era, but she still has her place. Really, really good. Works with well behind the Clementine lead as well. Trauma resist for all Telltale, and she gives out human shield on her signature move. She is absolutely good, really, really good, and she lands on an A tier list. You know, she could be as high as S tier when you pair her with the next toon, which is Clementine, and Clementine is definitely a S plus tier leader. Why? 50% debilitating effects, and she gives 40% HP. She gives 70% HP to Telltale toons. Halo to Telltale toons as well. She heals herself, right? It's just crazy. And you know, she gives days to damage toons. So she is doing so many things on the defensive side. If you have a right setup and right build, she is definitely a strong leader to put some of these newer defensive toons around. S plus tier list toon. Next on this list, we have Jane. I love Jane. Jane is really good. She's an S plus tier list toon as well too. Indomitable, one of the strongest defensive you know, skills out there, specialist skills out there. She has crit resistance, 100% defense, okay? And the trait mods that she have is 40% more effective on her, man. So she is absolutely really good. Put her in your team as a support toon. On that Telltale team, she's going to be even stronger. Nuts. Definitely want to go ahead and do that. Jane Indomitable. Next on this list, we have my boy Luca. Luca, new toon. He is an A tier list toon. Could be as high as the S tier list as well too. Reduce trait damage, heal, revives. You know what? He is very good. He is very good. And matter of fact, he's moving up to the S tier list because he also implies impair. Turn one, it's a problem when you go to try to do turn one rush and Luca's there and he is blocking that impair, man. So he is very good there. Next on this list, we have Omid, man. These Telltale defensive toons is coming in the clutch. He is really good. You put him on a team with Clementine, you put him on a team with Krista, Jane, you kind of have you a little bit of a funky-ish setup, you know, kind of get you some protection going there with another toon on the left side. I mean, PK, a couple of the different options you could put in there. Kind of got you a little something going there. So Omid is definitely good. We have War Veteran. Next we have War Veteran toon here from the War Store. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know where Richard is going to go. I have him at the B tier list, and the reason why is because I think he's good. He does have a lot of power, but he's just not going to, you know, replace anybody that's on your mainstay roster right now. So I will keep testing him, use him a little bit more, see how that lands, and we'll go ahead and look at that. So that's where we have Richard at. Next on this list, we have William Carver. William Carver is definitely a S plus tier list attack toon. He is very strong, okay? And when you put him behind Maggie and you give him a splash damage weapon, he can go nuts, all right? Very strong toon. You can also get him to rush turn one as well too. Massive amount of damage everywhere, and that's all you really need to know, okay? If you ever looked at William Carver when he was inside of, you know, the Telltale series, he was a nut then. He's still a nut now. And that's what we have up next. We have Governor. Governor has received a buff. He is a S tier list toon. They just made his stats a little bit stronger, and you can now throw him behind some of these toons, and he is going to be very good as well. Next we have Lee. Lee is on this list as well. So Lee is definitely going to be a S tier list as well too, because you can now pair Lee on a defensive side behind Clementine, boost him up, and it just becomes a problem. You can also put him on an offensive end, you know, and have him work out there as well too. It's just a couple different ways he can definitely be used, and he is a command tune that revives. So this is where we have it at. Now, this is my tier list. You guys let me know what you like, what you didn't like, where you would put some of these tunes, how you would do this, man. I know it's been a long time, but I am back. Tier list season. This your boy JustCMTexx. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. Peace.